The Amazing Digital Circus is a classic isekai story. Random person is somehow magically transported into a video game and meets a bunch of wacky characters and goes on wacky adventures with said characters. But what's different about the Amazing Digital Circus is that everyone that the main character Pomni meets is actually in the exact same position as her. They're all real people stuck in this digital world and are basically forced to make do with their circumstances. As the story progresses, we learn more about each character, about what they were like before in the real world. We learn about their careers, hobbies, home life, so on and so forth. But the one question that I keep wondering is, what do these people look like as people? Like, what does that amalgamation of shapes and colors look like as a human being? It's assumed that everyone still remembers what they used to look like, but it's not like anybody's gonna outright describe their appearance, because one, nobody talks like that, and two, that's boring. I want the mystery. I want to interpret what they look like myself, and that's exactly what I'm gonna do in this video. Disclaimer, there will be spoilers because I absolutely adore the Amazing Digital Circus, and I have many things I want to talk about, so viewer discretion is advised. Starting off with my girl Pomni. I love Pomni so much, so of course I had to draw her. Before getting into her human design, I thought she was gonna be the easiest to translate because her original design is one of the most humanoid designs out of the entire cast, but I actually had a bit of a hard time. Surprisingly, the one with actual hair and clothes gave me the most trouble. Who would have thought? I guess it was because I didn't want to simply copy and paste her hair and outfit onto my design, because that would just be the easy way out. I wanted to take some more creative liberties, you know? And I don't know about you, but I personally don't wear a jester costume on a day-to-day basis, so there's that too. For Pomni's outfit, I went for a kind of preppy, casual style. I'm not entirely sure what you would call it. Her outfit is kind of like half based on her original design and half based on vibes. This is just what I imagine her wearing, but at the same time I gave her like a collared shirt to match the collar she has originally. The socks are similar, and I kept the color palette mostly the same as well. I've noticed in the show, whenever the characters change outfits in certain episodes, Pomni is never shown wearing anything super feminine. Like during the bar scene in episode 5, Ragatha and Gangle, the two other women, are wearing dresses, but Pomni is wearing a dress shirt and dress pants. She doesn't necessarily read as a tomboy to me. I feel like she'd lie somewhere between feminine and androgynous, but not super androgynous, just somewhere in there. But I made sure to give her an outfit that isn't hyper feminine, but still reads as at least mildly feminine. I also wanted to design each character's work clothes, mostly for fun, but also in the bar scene in episode 5, every character shared what they did for work before getting stuck in the circus. Pomni said that she was an accountant for a supermarket chain. Accountants don't have a specific uniform, they just wear business or business casual clothing, as far as I'm aware, so that's what I gave her. I based it on the bar scene outfit, as if that was what she was wearing as she got off from work before heading to a bar, you know, to take a load off. During that same conversation though, Pomni also said she often got bored of her job and would find some excitement exploring abandoned areas and posting videos of them online. In the show, it's heavily implied that each person in the circus got there because of some problem in their life. For Pomni, it's clearly because of her boredom. I imagine that she has the job that she has because it pays well, but she just doesn't have a good sense of her own passions yet. I think that Pomni would make a much better therapist than accountant, since she's always giving therapy to everybody else anyway. I kinda headcanon that she didn't have many friends in real life. You know, she's a bit more of a lone wolf type, so maybe that's why she hasn't discovered her passion for helping others yet. I don't know. Anyway, this is all to say, Pomni's chronically bored IRL, therefore I drew her looking bored in her work outfit. I think human Pomni turned out well. I think she looks very cute. Pomni is literally my spirit animal, so I hope I did her justice.
I am just being here. I'm not a child, you don't have to hype me up. This may seem weird, but I think I know the feeling. Yeah, I'm fine. I'll call your order when your name's ready, yeah.
Please excuse my prior and future yappage. I just love the Amazing Digital Circus so much. Every time I think the obsession has died down, another episode comes out, and then I start frothing from the mouth. Someone's gotta hold me back before I rip off my shirt and morph into anti-vegan Jax. Speaking of which, you know what else Jax is anti towards? Gangle. My girl Gangle. I love Gangle. I keep going back and forth between who my favorite character is. Is it Pomni or Gangle? Pomni or Gangle? I don't know. But what I do know is Gangle is a cutie patootie, and that's why I included her in this video. I actually drew her first, as seen through her sketch popping up during the Pomni section. I just wanted to put Pomni first because she's the main character, you know? Anyway, Gangle's original design was very interesting to work with, considering that she's literally just a mask and some ribbons. But the thing I knew for certain that I wanted to include in her human design was to make her super cutesy girly. I feel like Gangle would be really into cute things, as seen through her pink foam in episode 4, so I gave her a cute little outfit. Cute yet simple. I imagine that she would be kind of shy about wearing anything super flashy or elaborate. She strikes me as someone who would try to fit in with the people around her, because her design in the show is based on the comedy and tragedy masks. Of course, they function as literal masks, but they also symbolize the action of masking or hiding something about yourself, usually out of fear of judgment. The show so far mostly explored Gangle's masking as a way to fix or push away her feelings of depression, but I would imagine that this behavior would apply to other aspects of her life as well. You know, Gangle's an artist, and a lot of artists tend to be weird kids, speaking from experience. She was probably bullied at some point. I mean, she literally gets bullied right now by a certain purple rabbit who shall not be named. I feel like because of that, Gangle is the type to try to blend in as much as she can. Obviously, this is getting into headcanon territory, but her masking could very easily affect the way she dresses and how she wants to be perceived. So I tried to portray as such. I also gave her a hijab, not for any reason in particular. I just thought that I could try to shape it in a way that sort of resembles her mask. I don't know if that was totally successful. Like, I don't know if she really reads as Gangle. I think the color palette is also affecting that, because Gangle's color palette is basically just red and white with a teeny tiny little bit of blue accents for her tears. So I think in my human design there's too much blue compared to red, which is supposed to be her main color. But at the same time, I'm personally not the biggest fan of red. I find it hard to work with. It also kind of hurts my eyes, so maybe more blue is a good thing. For Gangle's work uniform, I literally just drew her in what she was wearing in episode 4. She's a fast food shift manager. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. She also said she went to school for graphic design but eventually dropped out, which is very unfortunate because from the tiny glimpses that I've seen, Gangle's art is very nice, very cute. But yeah, I love Gangle. Did I mention that yet? I do wish I could have added more ribbons to her design, because that's like kinda her whole thing. But whatever, man, she's so cute and I want to squish her.
Huffing paint and not waiting until a designated break? No. We can't have anything like that going on around here. My comedy mask is usually broken by now. I just cracked under the pressure, I suppose.
All right, I have stayed silent about this long enough. I am a hardcore Gangle x Zooble shipper. Abstragedy is their ship name, at least the one that's most commonly used. This isn't even like an uncommon ship, but like, I just need to talk about them, man. They are so cute. I love them so much. It was all episode 4. It all started because of episode 4 when Gangle and Zooble started talking to each other more. Bars And Zooble is just so kind and sweet to Gangle. Oh god, somebody sedate me. I guess I should also talk about the character design since this is a character design video. But I don't want to. I'm speaking my truth. I love Yuri. Yuri. Okay. Zooble! I was very excited to get into Zooble's design because I had a pretty clear idea of what vibe I wanted to go for. Zooble, for me, gives me like punk rock, non-binary butch lesbian who's tatted up like there's no tomorrow, if you know what I mean. I gave them a little shaggy mullet, of course. I feel like Zooble is the type to impulsively cut their hair, even if they weren't very good at it when they first started. Like one day they decided to cut their hair, but it ended up looking very choppy, but they kind of just liked the messy look and kept doing it ever since. If I were to make a more in-depth character sheet for this design, I would love to draw Zooble in different hairstyles and maybe different colors, as kind of a nod to their frequently changing original design. In the show, Zooble is comprised of a bunch of different pieces that change in every episode, and they actually have a whole box of all of these pieces. So I imagine that in the real world, Zooble's hair could change every month or maybe even every week, like Ramona Flowers in Scott Pilgrim. It's implied that the reason why Zooble has that box of different arms and legs and accessories is because Zooble experiences gender dysphoria. In episode 3, Zooble said that despite having very easy access to all of these exchangeable parts, they still haven't found anything that feels just right. They haven't found anything that helps them feel like themselves. And this is obviously a problem that Zooble experienced in the real world before the circus. I would imagine that Zooble would be constantly changing up their style, constantly experimenting with their presentation, some days presenting more femininely and some days more masculinely. For my design, I stayed more in between, making Zooble more androgynous. But if I were to draw them again, I would definitely draw them in a bunch of different clothing styles, feminine, masculine, what have you. For the outfit that I did draw, I took some inspiration from punk fashion, especially the combat boots. In punk culture, there's this thing called lace code, which basically means different shoelace colors mean different things. But specifically in reference to combat boots, usually Doc Martens and ladder laces, as opposed to the standard crisscross laces. I gave Zooble orange and purple laces, orange meaning anti-racism, which I feel like Zooble is, and purple meaning queer or gay, which duh. The colors kind of worked out perfectly because in one episode, I don't remember which exactly, but Zooble has one orange leg and one purple leg. But the important thing is that I definitely wanted to give them purple because, of course. I am quite proud of how Zooble's design turned out, especially the layered tank tops, because the outer layer is distressed and the holes are supposed to resemble the polka dots on Zooble's original design. Yeah. I felt very proud of myself for coming up with that. For the work outfit, I gave Zooble a bartender uniform, because in episode 5, they said they were a bartender at some point. They also were a tattoo artist, that's why I gave them tattoos. I do wish I drew more tattoos. I feel like Zooble would have full sleeves. But, you know, Zooble's only 22, so maybe they just started their tattoo journey. At least that's what I'm convincing myself. The truth is, I don't really know how to draw tattoos well, so yeah. But overall, I think Zooble looks really cool. I did have trouble drawing them, though. I don't know why. I drew them well once, and then never again. But I think they still look fine. I'm just being dramatic.
I don't know if it'll work, but it looks about the same shape as yours. I know there's an implication there, but I can't be f***ed to figure it out. Now, come on over and hang out with the rest of us. Bring your art too. I always like seeing what you draw. Fun isn't the thing I hate. If anyone needs me, then f*** off.
I had a lot of fun designing these guys. Maybe I'll do a part 2 at some point, like 2 months after the next episode comes out. You know, I started these designs after episode 5 came out, but I was on vacation and I couldn't really work on it that much. And then I took an embarrassingly long time to finish this video. Do not even talk to me about that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for taking forever. And then episode 6 released like a few days ago. That episode, by the way, Anyway, that's gonna be all from me. I hope I did Pomni, Gangle, and Zooble justice. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.